So good afternoon, September the 15th, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and I. Today is day number 7 in the 4th week of the semester. So let's get started. Welcome back and good afternoon to this class, CISG114, Section 1. If you look at the one screen, you know that this is week number 4. It is also the last week of the first learning contract with the theme Inquiry-Based Learning, IBL. Today is September 15th, Monday, and we have another class this week, Thursday, to wrap up the first learning contract. Now, when we step into next week, it does not mean we will forget inquiry-based learning. Actually, inquiry-based learning is the stepping stone to the second theme called self-regulated learning, SRL, next week. So you need to keep the inquiry-based learning practice, well, perfect. Well, practice does make perfect. You have to remember, IBL for us is OIA. You need to learn how to do observations, you need to learn how to do interpretations, and you need to learn how to do applications. Get the data, ask the questions, learn the lessons, okay? And if you look at this week's teacher's message, was released yesterday. It gives you some very clear idea what you need to prepare for the first learning contracts. The submission dates for the first learning contract starts from yesterday to this Saturday. But I give you one more day, that is this Sunday. So instead of Saturday, September 20th, you can submit up to Sunday, September the 21st. 11:55. Look at the teacher's message and you should be able to notice that. Now the teacher's message gives you some very specific thing. First of all, to which pair you belong to. And unfortunately, in this class, I still have quite a number of students not paired up yet. And I do not know what you're going to do, but we have to go on. Alright? So, well, let's take a look at this table. This is the table to help remind you that the 6 items altogether you need to prepare for the first learning contract. The first item is your online journal. You need to select one journal from the past 4 weeks included this week, and in each journal it's expected to explore at least one question. Now you know that we have a reading list for each week, and in each reading list we have a number of questions. And when you select one question, that question will become your topic that you need to investigate. So, and also is for that question you come up with an individual online journal. Now if you have done one with journal, that means all. If there are 2 questions there, you should have done 2 pieces of journal, one for each question. And when you submit your journal, it is for one question's journal, not for the whole week's journal. Okay? So you do not need to do all the questions in a particular week's reading list. And so that is very important. The second thing is for the pair-based discussions. And once you've done your questions journal, that means the set of OIA for that questions is now ready, you should transfer from your electronic journal to the peer discussion forum, which has already been set up for you since last week, okay? So, and there, you need to discuss with your learning partner your set of OIA and get the feedback of your learning partner, and with that discussions record established, you can copy and paste the related records to serve as your peer discussions forum records for your topic. Now, the record that belongs to you and the record that belongs to your learning partner could have been quite different because you two must select different questions to explore. The 2 of you in your pair do not share the same question. So your discussion forum detail should be quite different from your learning partner's discussion detail because you help your learning partner to do the discussion for his or her topic, and he or she will help you to do the discussion forum for your topic. Now once you have got your journal done, and once you have got your discussion topic done, you should move on to write the report for your topic your topic and your partner's topic. When the report for your topic and the report for your partner's topic are completed, you put them together, and this will form the two topics in your report, one from you, one from your learning partner. At the end of your report writing, you should come to do the reflective blog for your topic. Since you have done the journal for it, you have already discussed the topic with your learning partner, and you have already written your report for that. So when you come down to write your individual reflective blog of your topic, it should be concise, it should be very smooth in terms of OIA. You do not need to explicitly show the O, explicitly show the I, and explicitly show the A. It has to be written in a prose style with explicit web links for further discussions, and when you write them, not more than 1,000 words. Normally it's between 500 and 1,000 words. You need to publish your blog using the Moodle environment, and then copy the blog you publish into a Microsoft Word document. When you submit something, you submit the Microsoft Word document versions of your work, okay? And then there is a proposal there. Normally, at the end of the stages of work, you will have some idea of what you want to do further, and here is your chance. You have to write a very simple proposal, normally 1 A4 page, which includes the name of your idea, 3 specific questions to explore, 3 specific references to put in to support your further explorations, and 1 simple paragraph, not more than 200 words, which will tell the significance of your topic. And finally, is your meeting minute. Well, you already have the learning partner for 2 bits, including this one, so you must have some meeting discussions with your learning partner either in class or outside of the classroom. So you need to learn how to put down some minutes details for the discussions of the 2 of you, and this meeting minute help you to do that. So you need to submit at least one meeting minute for the number of discussions you 2 as a pair have conducted inside the classroom or outside of the classroom. Okay, so 6 different items. So when you come to the course website, this is the course website. After week number 4, you should see a set of links here. This is the set of links, 6 links together, 1 for each of the artifacts that is expected of you. You come here, click into the link, and browse your computer, pick the file, and upload the file there as your submissions record, okay? So it's very important. I will only give you a grade when you submit something here, all right? This is an official act of submission. And remember, I will only give you a grade for this as long as you have discussions records in your peer discussion forum in the past week and this week, okay? So where is this? You can see this is the peer discussion forum for you to do the peer discussions in this week, and also the same peer discussion forum for last week. You must have done some discussions in this peer discussion forums, okay? So having said that, I would say that I have given you pretty much a good picture of where to submit something, what to submit, and when to submit, all right? So now I'm going to take attendance for today. So the attendance for today is taken early on before we come to the core of the class. Okay, here we go. Eva, thank you. Priscilla, thank you. Jackson, thank you. And then Ken, thank you. Jackie, thank you. Quan Yin, not here. Okay. So Zio, thank you. Eric, thank you. And then Shenron, thank you. Martin, thank you. Winnie Chow, thank you. Jeff Mark, thank you. Apple, thank you. Miranda, thank you. Dom, Fatia, and then Jeffy, thank you. And Cindy, thank you. Tommy, thank you. Nico, thank you. And then Zishun, thank you. Sophie, thank you. All right, so we saved attendance now. So this week, let's come back to this week. We're going, in a minute, I'm going to give you time to do the sharing. We have 2 students doing sharing today. So this week is week number 4. If you look at the topic for this week, it's called information literacy. So what is information literacy? Well, put it very simply, is the attributes, ability that you as a college student and we as adults must possess in this age of the 21st century, the digital era, where we have to manage a lot of information. We are suffering from a phenomenon which is called information overload because of the emergence of the internet and the knowledge society. So we have a lot of things to handle. Now, the question is, how best can we handle it? So today we're going to show you a very short introduction video called Discover Information Literacy. At the end of these, we are going to invite you to come to the discussion forum here. I have already set up a very interesting question for what do you make of Discover Information Literacy? And you need to go in here and put down some of your immediate responses, okay? So, first of all, I would like to invite you to spend about 8 minutes time to learn something about information literacy and the specific method here suggested by Discover. Okay, here we go. Just drive, okay? So the core context of information literacy could be summarized by one of the very famous sayings of John Dewey, the teacher of Wuxi. He said true learning is basically a process of discovery guided by mentoring rather than the transmissions of knowledge. So information literacy is a very important skill or state of being that you, as the college student, must make yourself capable of. Otherwise, it's very hard for you to cope with the modern society. Now, I would like you to spend the following 5 minutes going to the forum here, okay, and responding to this question based on your understanding of information literacy and also the idea shared by this video called Discover Information Literacy. Given that, assuming you know nothing about iHerald before today, okay, that you are living in a world where you need to practice information literacy almost every day. Okay, just 5 minutes. Normally, I would give my student some music to distract you a little bit. web technology and life, distracted by everything. Remember, the forum is located in this week, week number 4's public online discussions. Okay, not last week. here we go. Let's go back to our question. What do you make of discover information literacy? According to Miko, discover information literacy is an ability we must have. We can find many informations at this time. We need to know how to use it. The literacy needs us to search, collect, organize, verify, express, and refract. Okay? So this is Miko's view. What about Sylvie? Let's take a look at it. It is a way to teach students how to discover, create, refract, and respond, to search and collect information, important information, and understand about when, what, why, how kind of questions. Very good. What about Jeff? Discover information literacy is the skill to identify which information is useful, which is useless. Very important to evaluations. Okay, what about Eric? I think the ability of discover information literacy is a necessary skill in today's digital society. So I try to apply this ability to everyday life to make what I want to do. So it's a practical question. So, different ways of learning can lead to different results, and sometimes we should try to use different methods to think a question, and we may get a new view. Okay, it's like the morale behind using information literacy. A new way to think of a new problem, to think of a particular problem. Joel, information literacy is having the ability to research, collect, observe, and to present information more efficiently and effectively. Very important. By the way, do you understand the difference between efficient and effective? Efficient means use the least amount of time to get something done. Effective means get it done with the most impact. Okay? So here we go. Let's see, do we have some more? So, Cindy, with the development of technology, we are surrounded by a large amount of information. We need to have the ability to identify what is needed and choose the best sources. So, very, very true. What about Yi Shun? Information literacy, it's the ability to adapt to the information society. I think the word adapt is quite good. Information literacy is involved in all aspects of the knowledge, and many subjects are closely linked. That's very true. Information society, or better say the knowledge society challenge. And Mickey, I think information literacy is an ability, again, to adapt to the information society. That's all very good. Now let me add to you some more understanding on information literacy, okay? So let me just use 5 minutes more, okay?
When most people hear the phrase information literacy, they focus on the word literacy and assume that it has to do with being able to read and write. In actuality, information literacy, sometimes called information fluency, focuses on an individual's relationship with the information available to them in their daily life. Information is abundant and in more formats than most people can utilize, and at some point we all suffer from information overload. Information literacy is critical in allowing individuals to skillfully and knowledgeably take advantage of this new environment in their personal, academic, and professional lives. In this tutorial, the basic concepts of information literacy will be explored, especially as they pertain to students in higher education. The term information literacy was coined in 1974 by Paul Zurkowski, who noted that those who were information literate were able to mold information sources in order to find solutions to problems. 15 years later, a definition was created that is still in use by many educators and academic organizations today. the ALA's Presidential Committee on Information Literacy distinguished those qualities that make one information literate, stating that a person must be able to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. Information literacy applies to everyone, both inside and outside academia. It is about learning the skills to understand and navigate this new information world encountered on a daily basis. If one can utilize these skills and effectively use information, they have fulfilled the primary goal of becoming lifelong learners. Those who have learned how to learn, who can always find the information needed for any task or decision at hand. Although it applies to everyone, information literacy will vary according to the individual. An undergrad will use very different skills from someone already in a career, or those skills used in one's personal life. We will look briefly at information literacy as it pertains to higher education. In 2000, the Association of College and Research Libraries developed a set of 5 standards, performance indicators, and outcomes to define the information literate student. These standards touch upon 5 major components of information literacy: need, access, evaluation, use, and ethics. The first standard focuses on determining the need for information and recognizing what types and how much information are required. This includes being able to define the need, such as in a thesis statement. It's knowing what resources are available for the particular subject and choosing those that will be the most effective. This standard discusses recognizing the feasibility of conducting certain research while also coordinating a realistic timeline. The student should be willing to reevaluate and clarify their information needs throughout this process. The second standard focuses on accessing information. It may seem that students would be adept at this because of the abundance of information and easy-to-use search tools. However, this standard is really about getting the best information and not necessarily the most or fastest. Students must be aware of the research methods used in the particular subject field. They need to apply effective search strategies within appropriate tools to then access this information. Although there are always exceptions, it is important for them to try to use a variety of methods and systems instead of relying on a single research tool like Google, and they must be willing to refine their search strategies as needed. Finally, it is crucial that once found, students can manage these resources, being able to extract and organize the pertinent material so that it can be easily accessed while working on their final product. The third standard focuses on 2 types of evaluation. First, students need to evaluate sources to make sure they are legitimate and authoritative, especially in an environment where creating and distributing information can be done by practically anyone. It's also critical that students recognize bias, prejudice, deception, and manipulation within sources. Second, students need to evaluate the information within their source. This requires them to be able to understand the material, extract the main ideas, and know what parts would be best utilized in the final product. They should be able to take this information and synthesize it into their new ideas and concepts that can then be compared to prior knowledge, allowing them to test their ideas and theories. It is also important for students to investigate differing viewpoints. They need to be willing to discuss their findings and research with other individuals and practitioners. Finally, based on the information gathered, students need to evaluate their strategies to determine if modifications will be required to get better or more applicable resources. Standard 4 is about using this newly evaluated information to create a product such as a research paper. In general, this standard focuses on being able to cohesively and adeptly incorporate and utilize the new and prior information and effectively present it in a way that is understandable and clearly supports the main thesis. Finally, according to Standard 5, students need to be aware of the ethics of information. This does not mean students simply need to cite their sources to avoid plagiarism, although this is an important point. Students need to be aware of topics that can affect their research in daily life, such as privacy and security, copyright, intellectual freedom, fair use, censorship, and the freedom of speech. They must understand and follow the laws and regulations surrounding information. They then need to acknowledge information sources using appropriate documentation style and citing accurately and as needed. These standards may seem overwhelming to incorporate into a single course. However, the development of an information literate student takes place over their entire academic career and will continue long after. It is up to the instructor to decide what standards apply and should be taught within their course. Eventually, all the standards will come together. The information literate student is not the creation of any single individual. He or she has been molded by a wide variety of people, including professors and librarians. Please consult the Rice Library Information Literacy LibGuide. This guide will provide you with a full list of ACRL standards, performance indicators, and outcomes, with corresponding sample activities. It also provides additional links and resources to make understanding and incorporating IELTS skills easier. Please ask the reference librarians at Rice Library about what you can do to make information literacy a more prevalent part of your classes.
It's a very excellent, sorted, up-to-the-point mini lecture on helping you to summarize the main points on information literacy. How do you practice information literacy? Where do you start? We start with a need for a particular piece of information. When we need that information, we know that we need to look for the information. So in order to look for the information, the second stage after need is access. You physically go to a library and look at a piece of information. You virtually go online to look for some specific information that could be downloaded to you. But once you have a need, you start to look for something, you access that information based on your need. Now after you have looked for the information, what do you know? Or what do you do? Well, there could be more than what you need. For example, when you search for something using a search engine, normally it will give you many pages of information, and you have to go through the pages of information to select what you think is important. That is called the evaluation process. So the first stage in this particular episode on tutorial, it's access and then evaluate. You have a need, you access information, you evaluate the information. After you have evaluated the information, you now have the information pinpointed, and you know this is what you want, so you can take it out and use it where you want it. And use is the fourth stage. Use the information after evaluations. Evaluate the information after you have gained access to the information. Before you can gain access to any information, you must identify your need for that information. Suppose you have already used that information where it is needed. Now what do you need to do? It's an important ethical question. If we ever try to steal someone else's information and use it as our own, this is an act not acceptable in academia and also in the real world of work. So we need to give credit to the source. The way to give credit to the source in the practice of our report writing, blog writing is called citation. We need to provide full references of those specific informations, and we need to provide a citations in the body of our writing that we take this idea from a particular piece of information that could be traceable to this author's site here with a full reference at the end of the report. It's very important that you know that when you do or when you practice information literacy, you've gone through the need stage, the access stage, the evaluation stage, the use stage, and finally it's the ethics stage. Provide citations. So having learned this much, I would like to see how much more you have already contributed to this particular forum. Let's see, after Mickey, yes, we do have Jackson. I think information literacy is to know how to find information and use it. Very good. Also, it's important to respect the publishers or the source. Do not copy anything without listing the reference or providing a citation. So that's very good. And then Martin's information literacy contains 8 different parts. It can make its finished essay to report effectively, learning how we can research information. You need more quick by different web engine. 8, we understand the knowledge. I mean the 8th step you refer to DISCOVER, alright? So the discover method. Okay. So Priscilla, information literacy is the ability to use a variety of information tools and search tools, identifying information from massive sources, very good, acquisitions, evaluations, and use of the information effectively. Okay. So Saigai discover information literacy is the skill to find, retrieve, and use information is the knowledge of the company use the research techniques. Okay. Apple, information literacy is defined as the ability to know when there is a need for information, to be able to identify, locate, evaluate, and effectively use that information for the issues or problem at hand, provided we have given credit to the sources. Okay, that's very good. Now, may I just introduce you to the speakers for today? We have Xiao and Eric. So, are you ready? Okay, have you posted the PowerPoint file yet? In this particular, oh, right here, right? After this? Okay, you can come here and you can try. Oh, right here, right? This one. Okay, so I give you the microphone. Let's give Xiao a big hand. You can stop anytime. You can go to slideshow at the top, slideshow. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here to make our class sharing, and today our topic is about digital divide in the 21st century. Nowadays, we use Google to search for the information. We use WeChat to connect with our friends, and sometimes we also find news from YouTube and Twitter. But there are still millions of people even don't have a chance to use a mobile phone and make a call to their families. As a result, there form a digital divide between these two groups of people. So, what's the digital divide? It's the gap between people who are rich for information and who are poor of information. Therefore, they have different lifestyles and living levels. Then there exists a gap. We can see that people in this group with deeper color have a higher rate to use computer, while here only 10% of people may have chance to approach the digital technology. And with this increase of the gap, it can add many unstable factors to the society. And that's one of the reasons we should bridge the digital divide. But what exactly do we need to build the bridge? Then next to my pastor.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, thank you for my partners. And then I talk to the why bridging the digital divide is an opportunity for growth in the 21st century. So why we see that this is an opportunity for growth in 21st century, the ICT, information communication technology, plays a great part in today's cultural and economic system. Now, let me talk about the benefit of bridging the digital divide in economy. Firstly, producers can get the details of information and then change their prices in order to attain the better sales volume. Second, exporters will get the profit of price difference by know the product information, and carriers, merchants make a profit at the same time. The producers and exporters and merchants, they may come from different areas and possess various backgrounds, which made the gap exist, and thus all the players in the chain benefit from a transparent information system and obtain the best margins for their added value. As their incomes increase, they will enjoy their access to new resources, enabling them to further advance their business and their well-being. This is advantage of the economic growth. The divide will be shortened like in this way and create a new economic system. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric and Xiao. We thank you for your sharing on the topic of digital divide. So now, we highly encourage our students to come up here to do sharing in class. On the one hand, you can earn some class participation scores. On the other hand, you can actually stimulate your fellow students to think along with you the topic of your interest. And they could, in a sense, be encouraged to share with the whole class your topic of interest too. So here we go. We have the very interesting discussions going on this morning on information literacy. And I have tried to provide you not just from a very lecture-based perspective on information literacy. I want to use the remaining 10 minutes to show you a very interesting context of applications for information literacy. A lot of the students would not feel very much ambivalent to talk about this topic until they know that it's time for them to turn in something. So, when information literacy is applied in the context of completing a assignment, well, first of all, we want to start with something very familiar with us that is called the Wikipedia. And I remember we tried to touch that earlier, but it's good for you to take a look at whenever you have something you don't quite understand. This is where we need to look into.
It sounds so bad, but the first place I go for information is Wikipedia.
But I've had professors say you may not go to Wikipedia.
But I do anyways. Not cited, of course.
Me too. I don't care if it's peer-reviewed or not. I just want to figure something out that I know nothing about. I mean, nothing.
Give me what's what. I gotta know what it is before I can go ask someone else about it, or to find out about it. Just makes sense.
Wikipedia is awesome. It's got good English, no fluff, it's written like I can understand it. Gives me links to other stuff too. Takes me to the real stuff I need.
Sometimes when I get to the serious research, I think back and say, I thought Wikipedia said this though, but this source is disclaiming it here. That's when it gets interesting for me.
Yep, not that Wikipedia gives any real surefire evidence. Just makes me feel more comfortable, confident, ready to go on. Wikipedia is my first go-to place, but certainly not my last.
One of the comments given by colleagues who do not seem to trust Wikipedia enough is that Wikipedia might be fraudulent because it was written by so many different people. And about 10 to 15 years ago, people would always say that it was never as strong as the Encyclopedia Britannica. It had so many authorities or authoritative figures behind this. But today, the pictures change. You cannot stop our students from using Wikipedia to get the first-hand knowledge of almost anything. And Wikipedia has already refined its rules of engagement. That means if you're going to publish something that's never been published before, don't come to Wikipedia. When you come to Wikipedia to publish something, that must have been published before. So you must provide reference links to whatever you write on the Wikipedia page, and people will check on it. Okay? And because of that model, it has constantly refined itself to become the #1 choice of many students whenever you need some information about anything. So that is reality today. Now let's move on. Suppose you need some more information to finish your first learning contract. I know that you will go to Wikipedia. It's acceptable to me. The second thing is, what I'm afraid of is, you know that you can always find something, but you never spend time doing it until the very last minute. Now, you know the deadline for this first learning contract is this Saturday. I give you one more day now, Sunday. So if you know that this is the deadline and you still don't want to spend time doing it, you're committing this very interesting act of procrastination. So let's take a look at it.
Do I procrastinate? Sure I do. Sometimes I just get too overloaded with too much information coming at me. Learn this, write this, turn this in.
I don't need to wait until the last minute, but I work 2 different jobs and have so little time.
I know I can always find something online, even at the last minute.
I can't always be studying. I mean, college is about having some fun, even if it's only a little bit.
At 2 a.m., the night before it's due, when I've got all the stuff I need and I start writing like crazy, it just comes to me. That's when I'm creative.
Maybe I'll see something on the bus, a billboard, a newspaper, a book someone is reading, and it gives me an idea for my paper.
With all the work from other classes, I just prioritize what's due from week to week and go from there.
I wait and I wait for the professor to say something. Give me some more guidance about what they expect.
Sometimes I delay working on school stuff because, well, I'm just feeling lazy, just too tired to do much of anything.
Well, you know that in the context of first learning contract, we're given you 4 weeks' time to practice the skills of selecting a topic, writing the journal in the terms of the 7th OIA, take it to the peer discussion forum and discuss it with your learning partner. Once you got some feedback from your learning partner, put it into a further perspective and continue the conversations until you believe you got enough information to start writing your report. And at the end of the report writing, you try to summarize the main points, put it smoothly in your personal essay that is called reflective raw. Well, it takes time to do that. You have 4 weeks time to practice it, at least 4 cycles of it, if not 2 cycles in the 3rd and 4th week. So what if you procrastinate? You do not do things until the very last minute. Can you condense all the process work of selecting topic, writing OIA, discuss it with your learning partner, and then write a report and finally come to your refractive rock in just a matter of 1 day? Well, the result can often be frustrations, because a lot of the time you know that you need some more time to do it.
What's frustrating about conducting research? It's when I type in keywords and I get a whole bunch of results, which sounds good, but so much of what's there is insanely irrelevant.
Just getting started on a research assignment is the most difficult part of the research process for me.
It's not knowing the right words to use when I search. Let's see, I'll call my topic this, so now, what does someone else call it who may have published something about it?
I always have trouble narrowing down a topic for the assignment.
Finding statistics is hard. You're looking for some specific statistics, then you have to go through a million articles, and then you may never find something you can use.
A lot of the time, it's a case of information overload. The more I know, the less I realize that I know. It can be kind of depressing.
I never can find that perfect source, the one I know I really want, so I eventually settle. I say this isn't perfect, it's not what I really wanted to write about, but it will work, so I'll go with it.
What's frustrating is when I look on the library shelves and I find some stuff, but it turns out to be 10 or 20 years old. Gee, that's hardly what can be called up to date. I can't use this stuff.
It's not so much doing the research part of the assignment that's difficult, it's actually writing the paper.
What's the research process supposed to be about anyway? Is there some right way I'm supposed to do it? I mean, I always feel like I've got to create some new system each time.
The frustrations, the limitations, they remind me we're still living in the early days of the internet. There's information out there that should be readily accessible that we assume is, and it is not though. That's just the way it is.
This is a very good illustration of some of the things you might come across while doing your learning contract work. The artifacts that you need to produce, the 6 items of interest we remind you at the beginning of today's class, require you to look up information sometime very timely and suitable information for you to put things into perspective. What if you need some more time to do it and you cannot just get to that information to finish writing the report? Well, we are talking about strategies now, so let us run the strategy page until you got some ideas.
If you want to know the truth, by the time you get to college, no one says to you, well, this is the efficient way to do research. Find information, you do this on this day, and at this point. Then you have to come back to it later on. This saves time. You have to come up with some method to get through.
I start by figuring out what the question is. What does the professor want? Then I look up sources, I take some notes, then I write the paper. I pretty much have it down.
When I need some background, and to get started on an assignment, Wikipedia is where I go.
I might ask an instructor about going in a certain direction. For me, this keeps the paper from going off on a different tangent. Who knows? Might lead to a better grade, too.
Depending on how big the paper is determines whether I need to go to the library or not. If I have 2 months, sure, I'll go to the library instead of relying on internet stuff.
Writing on a different topic may mean pulling from some different sources. Sometimes I have life experiences or examples I want to weave into the paper too.
If something's really tough to answer, like trying to think of the word to use or how to narrow something down, I might ask someone for help.
After I look at the course readings, then I simply look up the citations on JSTOR. It gets me through.
I see research as involving the same steps, the same sources, each time. I always say, if it works, then why change it?
It's your practice in looking up resources. Many students will say, we need a textbook. Because in a textbook, we feel comfortable. It guides us step by step forward. And when we get information at the end of the textbook, particularly at the end of each chapter, we have references. And I would say excellent. you know how to look at information. Now the point is, you start out with a textbook. We do provide for you, and you go to the library, you can take it. But can you come up with something that is your practical steps in looking at related information for a topic that is of your interest, rather than dictated by the author of the textbook? So you need to come up with some kind of strategy, particular strategies on how best to use your time. When you look at the items of interest we expect you to complete by the end of the first learning contract, it is the discussions minute, it's your proposal, it's your reflective walk, it's your report, it's the discussion forum details, okay, it's your journal. We start from small and we enlarge it at the very end. Now let's close today's class by coming back to the teacher's message of today, of this week. If you look at this table, you know that the assessment rubric is on this side suggested for you. And if you take a look at the assessment rubrics, the journal will give you 4 points. The discussion forums will give you a total of 12 points. The report will give you a total of 20 points. The blog will give you a total of 20 points. So the journal is just a starting step. 4, 12, 16, 20, 36, 20, 56, and then the proposal, 4 points, the meeting, 4 points, 56 plus 8, 64 points altogether. Then it's the raw score you're going to earn for your first learning contracts, 6 items, 64 points, and then it shall be converted to the 10 semester points for the first learning contract. Now, as you can see that in the assessment scheme, each of the learning contract will earn you 10 points. So the learning curve, it's very low. If you do not do a good job here, you are going to lose at most 10 points, but you will not lose all the 10 points. So what does it mean? It's a very good time for you to try things out, to see your ability in actions. If you have been keeping track of the way you manage your time, okay, check this out with the suggested methods here on this column, and see if you have been practicing the suggested method to divide your time through all the 7 days of a week to devote to the explorations of one single topic, which is the one question out of the many questions in each week's reading list. Studying from that question, you come up with your journal, the set of OIA. You come up with the discussion details with your learning partner. You come up with the final report, and you also come up with your refractive blog. Now, that's all I want to say today. I'm going to remind you steps further on the first step. So I hope you understand the importance of managing your work. So that's it for today. You're free to go, but continue your conversations in the forum, and particularly with the peer partner in your peer discussion forum. Okay? That's it for today. CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Light, on September 15, 2014.